Alright, here's a quick look at what I've come up with for your father-in-law's vehicle repair business. I tried to incorporate the main things that were in your original scope here in designing forms and left off a lot of the extra stuff that I threw in my database design diagram I sent you. So, starts off here with what I'm calling for now the account info tab, which has customer accounts and then vehicles and contacts associated with the account. I loaded all the information you gave me from that Excel export file into the customer account record here. I decided to put the address right on the customer account record. I don't think it's really necessary to break out several addresses. It could be a separate customer if necessary, but the only reason we need addresses is for sending out these different promotions and thank yous, so we really would just want one address per account, I would think. So I loaded all that information. You'll also note down here that I have also loaded all that information as contacts for each customer account. I created a contact called account owner as the relationship with that account name. So every account has that person loaded as a contact. Okay. If you click here and start typing a letter, it'll take you to the first entry for that letter. If you keep it in G, it'll scroll through the G's. I'm going to scroll down here and find Glenn Hughes, where I loaded some information for him. And you can see there are two vehicles associated with the Glenn Hughes account. My old 85 Riviera that's now deceased, and my 95 Riviera that's still in action. Well, not right now at least. And then the contacts, you'll see Glenn Hughes contact. You can double click on any of these lists to get the record behind it. I double click on the account Glenn Hughes, you'll see the account record where you can make changes, add notes and whatnot. You can also add a vehicle and add a contact right from the account, and I'll show you that later when we get to that. Down here, you can also double click on a vehicle and bring up the vehicle record where you'll see the vehicle information, notes, and then a service history. You know, the service history and vehicle record is really the heart of this whole thing. This is where you'll add information about service done. You click on add service history, it automatically comes up with the date and the associated vehicle, and you choose a type, whichever standard services we want to track, you know, for future promotions, or just because we want to know. You put in the mileage of the vehicle. Here's where you choose whichever promotion. If they had a promotion, a coupon, or something like that with them, and you could put a service note. All right. So that's the heart of the whole thing, adding the service history, the dates, the mileage, and all that, and the vehicle record. You can also make changes. If we noticed here that this one had a promotion with it, you know, we could add, you know, the promotion. Oh, we forgot to put that in. We could change that, so now you have the test promotion associated with that service. You can also then double click on the contact to see the contact information. Here's Glenn Hughes. You can see here's his name, the account is associated with, the relationship, and then a list of all the communication devices that we have for him. You can add another one. You can see here's the different home phone, account phone, contact, email, and second phone, and all that stuff. I also then loaded the best I could any of the phone number information we have. Let me find here Gene Diker, for example. If we double click on his contact, you'll see I loaded all the information, his mobile phone, home phone, and second phone information that I gleaned off of the file that you sent. Okay. You can also right click on any of these lists to add or delete information. Let's say let's right click on a customer, say we want to add an account. We'll add some bogus account here, you know, just for demonstration purposes. Okay, save that, close. Okay, now if I type a 1 here, we go back and there's the account 1111. We can right click on that and say delete account, or click delete account. If you save it, probably won't work. And do you sure you want to delete the account 11111? Yes, we do, and it's gone. Okay, same goes with vehicles and contacts. You can right click to add or delete. Let's say we wanted to add a contact for the first aid company. This is a test contact. He would be an employee of the first aid company, and let's say we want to add, well, that might not work right now. But anyway, you could add the communication method and go from there. So we've added in this test employee. Now we can right click and delete the contact, and yes, we want to delete the contact, same with vehicles. You can also, as I think I already showed up here, you can add account. We already did that for 111. So this is kind of the heart of everything here: the customers, their vehicles, and the contact information. Then we have the promotions tab here, where we have information about different promotions, mailing lists we've sent out, and whatnot. If you click on a promotion, this test promotion, you'll see a list of people who was sent to, a drop date, their address. If you want to see just ones that have been redeemed so far, you click the checkbox there, and we can see that, you know, the Glenn Hughes, and then some other dude, the one we just added, or no, the Glenn Hughes one we added back on the account info tab. You see the whole list there for both, you know, and then we could add. If you want to right click here, we can add a promotion, and we'll call this brand new promo. Oops. And this one will be done by fax. And let's see, we want to create a list for this. You know, now you can choose the different types of lists. Is it based on leads? We can add any lead files we get. We'll add to the customer record with a account type of lead, and a lead ID, lead source ID that identifies where the list came from. Here we can see there's a bunch of, I marked these accounts as being test, you know, from a test lead source, wherever the source may be, AAA, whatever. And then this is not all complete. Like, you would have a button that would create the list, add it to the lists, the promo list table, so that you could see it back in the other form. You know, then it would be back here. It would be this here's brand new promo, and it would have, you know, the list of people that we sent to for there. Let me go back there and look some more at these lists. There's also a list type of thank you notes. This will show up a list of any accounts who have received service that has not been yet marked as receiving a thank you note. Once this list is created, it would run a little process that would mark all the ones in the new list as having received their thank you note, so they wouldn't get it again for the next one. However often this would be done, weekly, monthly, and that would be up to you. Then there's the service reminders lists, where basically you could choose a service type. Any one of these service, you know, we'd have to have a separate service type, you know, for any one that we want to track and know when people received their last service. So if we wanted to see a list of all people who have not received an oil change since 11/17, well, that'd be yesterday, then that would be everybody who's had an oil change, Glenn Hughes and some other dude. If we go back and say, I think some other dude had his on October 1st, if we said, show me anybody who has not had an oil change since September 30th, then it would be just Glenn Hughes, and he would be the only one that would receive, excuse me, that reminder. And then we could come up with the other, really, right now there's nothing in here. I'm thinking we could have some standard reports or standard, you know, generic lists that are pre-built easily, you know, without, you know, changing criteria. And like just for general coupons, you know, all customers, or, you know, if we had amounts in there, anybody who spent this much, you know, send them a special discount, you know, if we kept amounts. And that's pretty much it for promos there. Then I have this tab for find vehicles. This was, you know, kind of along the ideas of the recall notice that I had before. Basically what this does is it lets you identify and find a list of any cars that you service that meet certain criteria. I don't have much in here as far as cars, but I do have some Buicks in there. So if you choose Buick, you'd see a list of all the Buicks, you know. And if you wanted to, you could double click on it and make some change to the information, or just add a note. You know, if you wanted to add a note just to that one car, you know, nice car. You know, then you can do that. All right. So now that would have a note on it. If you wanted to add a note to all of them, you know, that meet a certain criteria. Let's say you got there's a recall for 1995 Rivieras. Excuse me, and you'd have several of them. You know, maybe. Then you could add a note to all. You know, saying recall. Okay. Then you say okay. It lets you know you're going to update one. We can change that. That's the standard access message. Then you double click and it would add that recall to the list of notes in addition to all these other goofy stuff I was putting in there while testing. So we could do something, you know, that makes this more obvious. So when you open up the account, you just have to make it a habit that whenever you open up an account to take a look at those notes and see if there's anything you need to address. And once again, you can add service history from right here and all that too. So anyway, that's the basics of what I have for you right now. I think it takes in most of the original scope of customers, contacts, you know, vehicles, service history, and being able to send out promotions and notifications. I left, you know, the database design is open to, you know, to additions, to adding in some of those other options if they're necessary at all. or anything else you could think of. And obvious, there's a lot of probably fields and stuff missing here. At some point I need to sit down and see how things go in the business, look at the documents, and just see how they work to make it easier, and also to design the form to make it comfortable for whoever it is that's going to be using it most. Whether it's saving things, cancel buttons, close buttons, and all that. So, all right, well, let me know what you think of this, and we can go from there. Talk to you later.